Hello, 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 and welcome to the Drag Race RHAPup here on reality TV RHAPups. I'm your host, Liana Boraas, and today we are talking about the premiere of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16. We have a split premiere. We got to meet half the queens. We already have a winner. No one goes home. We have a new twist with this whole Rate a Queen situation, a mini challenge, a lot to get into today. First, before I introduce our co-host, I do just want to emphasize the star ratings and reviews on iTunes. That is so helpful for us at the beginning of the season. Subscribing, comments, subscribing to the feed, all of that is extremely helpful. So Rob has a website.com/drag race or message any one of us if you have questions. Okay. Now that is out of the way, let me get to our fabulous panel. As always, here with us, let me start with Beth Dixon. Beth, how are you?
I have drag queens on my television again. I'm doing well, Liana. I got to see some pretty awesome queens on TV. I can't complain.
Yes, we're back. And Aman, did you get the same joy having queens back starting off the season?
I did. I got the same joy. I'm feeling it. I'm loving the show so far. And usually, like when the split premieres were like first started becoming a thing, I kind of was like a little bit. I didn't really like it too much. I kind of just wanted to get. I want my Drag Race, and I want it now. But I didn't mind it this time. It's nice, getting the chance to get to know the queens a little bit more. So I enjoyed it.
I do wish they had done the season 15 approach. I feel like last year they really struck the good balance of the split but non-split premiere.
They shoved that shit in our faces though. Like I was like, "There's more, there's more, there's more." Like it was like,
God.
How long was the episode? It was like 2 hours long.
But I'd rather have that bar for a long time. Because what happens for me is like in 2 weeks, I'm going to forget about this group, and then I'm going to have to be reintroduced to them, in 2 weeks essentially, and then I don't know. But regardless, I mean, this group is going to be hard to be forgettable. So there was a lot of personality. There was a lot of really good looks. There were fun talent. So maybe I won't have that big of a problem.
That's how I felt. I felt like this group came on so strong that even though we are doing a split premiere and obviously this group will take a week off, I feel like I remember every single person. And usually there's like one or two queens that I kind of like forget about a little bit. But I think everybody got their own story. I think everybody got something unique about them that stood out, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got Q with the performance, the foot like hand like that's so weird. Yep. That's so cool. That's so unique, and then you had like Mirage with, oh my gosh, one of the smoothest performances. I just feel like everybody had something that put a little note in my brain to help remember them. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy we got to breathe a little bit and we can really dig into these 7 queens. And then next week, of course, we'll meet the other 7. So Aman, what were your sort of broad strokes? What are your feelings about the premiere?
I enjoyed the premiere. I enjoyed the queens. I felt like we had some variety. I'm going there. I liked the fact that yes, it was everyone's meeting each other for the first time, so we can't quite expect drama yet. But what I did like was that some of these queens seem like they're perfectly okay with being shady in a playful way, which means that the shady in an unplayful way is soon on the way. So I'm like, I'm excited for that. And the personalities this year just seem to be, everyone seems to sort of like be in their own lane and occupy a certain space, and I'm excited for that. And they all seem, I think there were a couple of front runners that were already emerging within this episode, just by the nature of having to, rate one another. But it's still, for me, it's anybody's game now. So I'm excited. I felt very good about this episode.
Beth, what about you? Any other thoughts before we get into some of the details?
No, I think that, quite frankly, there's just somebody that I thought that was like a huge rising star out of this was not necessarily somebody who was on my list before, and that's Q. And like, I'm really excited to see, what some of these queens are able to pull out. I mean, it's almost like you can't really judge people based off of a, 30-second interview and entrance look. It's weird.
Shocking.
I don't know.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Weird.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's so weird. All right, so yes, we got the what are we going to start? I mean, let's just start with the meat and potatoes. Let's talk about the Maxi Challenge. I'm so happy that we are doing again a talent show. Although at first, when Rue was like announcing it, it was the MTV Spring Break like inspired talent show. So I didn't know what I
Yeah.
was like. Oh, okay, this is. Oh no, it's just the talent show. This is just
Yeah.
MTV getting in with their branding.
It was so weird. Why are we talking about spring break on friggin' like January 5th?
The main stage at that. Like, if at least give us a different kind of set if we're gonna like be transported to spring break, you know?
Right.
Hasn't this been a challenge like later in the season?
Is
When
MTV
spring break actually happens?
doing spring break? Is
That
this still a thing? I have no idea.
I think we're literally at the age where like we grew up watching spring break, but then when spring break happened, I don't know if it still was a thing by the time we went on spring break.
I think I remember seeing something about MTV Spring Break and they ended up shutting it down because of all of the chaos it was.
I would hope so.
That does not surprise me.
I'm pretty sure that was a thing.
Okay.
I'll look it up right now.
Because all I know is that MTV airs ridiculousness anytime they just kind of don't know what to do, which seems to be all the time. So I didn't realize how much like unique programming they were doing. And if they were sort of maybe they're trying to like bring it back, or maybe this was just a way to show, oh, RuPaul was involved in MTV Spring Break, like back in the day, some type of synergy or something. But anyway, honestly, it's probably not that important. But although they were able to bring Derek Barry back, individually recorded weird intros as Britney. So that was fun, I guess.
I like that, little nod to the late 90s, early 2000s. I thought Derek was definitely the perfect choice for that. So I'm glad that she's getting work.
Yeah, that makes more sense. I will be honest. It didn't really land with me until this month. First a mandatory meeting and now this, where I'm like, why do they have Derek? Okay, clearly they were trying to do like a Britney inspired. I'm telling you,
I just wanted it to look like
I'm like
beach.
6 days behind everything this season.
Amon's like, where are the palm trees?
Yeah, I just wanted like more of a beach feel.
I wanted more
kind of
titties.
Stage outside or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
where was the free booze? Where was the booze being poured on top of white t-shirts? I don't understand. Where is this?
Yes, where's the margarita being made in my mouth? I don't understand.
Where are the clearly too drunk to function people playing chicken in the pool, and it is a complete life hazard?
Yeah,
exactly. With no lifeguards.
Okay, right. So anyway, look, it's a talent show. Okay, no matter how they want to market it, it's a talent show, and we get the opportunity to see all of the queens and what it is that they bring to the stage. Right? What is it that they're known for? And I think that this is always a good way to get to know queens. And we kick things off with Morphine, who has a sort of dancing lip sync type performance. Beth, what do you think about her?
Sexy. It was sexy. I thought that the performance was technically like really beautiful. And her energy was like 85% there. There were times where it just felt like it was about the precision and not necessarily about like the emotion or the energy. And so that was the only thing that I felt like was kind of lacking for me at times. But I thought she looked amazing. I love that she did something that is obviously very close to her and her upbringing, with her parents both being from Nicaragua, and having this like very sensual dance. You got a really good sense of who she is as a performer, as well as like who her character is. So I thought it was great. I thought she did a great job.
And I mean, we did get a lot of her as a narrator as well. So it felt a lot of like, okay, this is someone who we are supposed to know. I don't know why yet, but I'm curious to find out. Yeah, I thought my interpretation was that it was cute, it was fine, it was fun. I understand where the judges were. It was safe. I understood where the judges were coming from. That they also loved the performance. So, for me, it felt like there was some synergy there. But Aman, do you have any other opinions on Morphine?
Yeah, no, I think that I enjoy Morphine's confidence. That's what I love the most about her right now. She seems to very much know who she is. Loves talking about her little BBL, and just giving us all the Latin flair that I just anyone that likes to come in and really just hold their culture and their ethnicity, like to like their core of who they are, I love watching that because I learn a lot every single time. So that's what I'm feeling the most about Morphine so far, and the fact that she's a Lady Gaga fan too.
I also love that she is not afraid to read a queen. Like she's sitting there in that confessional reading oh, it sounds like you need to get a touch up back on that Botox.
Like, yeah, where?
Where?
You better get your money back.
She sounded exactly like that show You're Cut Off from like the late 2000s, where they had like that girl whose father was like the best plastic surgeon. And she was like, you need Botox. Like that was her only clap back to anybody, was that you need Botox. And it sent me there, and I love her for that. So thank you, Morphine.
Yeah, definitely narrator vibes. So, does this mean that she's going to go deep? We're going to see a lot of her. I'm not sure, but I'm excited with what we've seen so far. We can also, I think, let's just talk about the looks. I didn't pull them up because I don't know if anybody knows this. I don't know. I couldn't find the episodes anywhere. I guess it's like only through MTV, or you can buy them on Amazon or YouTube. So I was like kind of annoyed with that because I'm like, I pay for Hulu. I pay for Paramount Plus. I pay for all these services. I pay for WoW. I'm like, can we not put it up?
It's ridiculous
somewhere?
It doesn't go on Paramount Plus after it's aired.
WoW. I don't understand why it's not on WoW. Like it is with a VPN. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to like go out. So I'm going to do a VPN somewhere else and then watch it. I don't know. It really bothers me in this era of accessibility, why we can't just put it up on streaming services.
I agree. It's especially like jarring when you come from All Stars, which airs on Paramount Plus, and having it available to you at all times, to going back to the regular season, and you're like, it's gone. So I don't know why. I don't know what the contract is between MTV and Paramount Plus. Everything else is up there, so I don't know what the difference would be. But I guess they just want to drive more attention towards the platforms that are paying for access to it immediately to increase the viewership of the show. So I'll do something for the queers, okay? And I'll watch a little drag show, a little dress up show.
I have to watch these friggin' commercials, even though I have commercial free Paramount Plus. Here I am on MTV, like a flub on Saturday, sitting through stupid commercials because I had to go to Broadway on
your
Friday
little gay asses. Good for
and
y'all.
watch the worst musical ever, where I left at intermission and I didn't even watch Drag Race.
Wait, what'd you see? What was so bad?
Back to the Future, the musical.
Okay, well.
Listen, okay, come out. I just want it down. I did not think it was going to be good, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad.
Yeah. I bought leave in the meeting bad or middle bad. Yeah.
I have never in my life left anything at intermission. And I literally looked at my friend who was from out of town and was the one who wanted to see this. And I said, I cannot do this anymore. And he was like, if you need to leave, you can. And I went, I do. And I know you leave tomorrow morning at 4 a.m, and this is the last moment we're going to see each other. But take this hug and remember me. And I left. And as soon as I left, I was like, I fucking missed Drag Race premiere for this. That's
so funny. That's
so
funny. Anyway, okay. So let's talk about her look also while we're here. So this was the sort of like little towel number into the bathing suit, which I thought was really cute. I do think though, when you do stack it up against some of the other reveals in this episode, obviously it doesn't look as dramatic, but I don't know. I felt like it totally fits her vibe, the Miami vibe. It just really fit her so well that I had a harder time being judgmental, although I understand the judges were like, oh, it's underwhelming.
I wish she had gone a little more with like the towels and such, like if they'd been rhinestoned or if there was just something else there that made it a little bit more, because it also looked very rough. Like there were lots of strands of the towel that were all over the place that kind of made it look unfinished. So if she had done just something a little bit more, like the reveal was fun with her kind of twisting around just to have it come off. And then the bathing suit again was just, the idea was there. It just, for me, didn't go far enough. But that said, got a really good vibe of who she is.
Yeah. I do wish, I think I agree. I think it did just need a little bit more inspiration. That's like the most basic reveal that there is. Like that's not even a drag reveal. We've all been very primed for, I'm gonna take off my towel now so everyone can see the body I've been working on. We all know that's the most basic reveal ever. So I do wish that maybe, you know, if there wasn't going to be more of like, you know, like a rhinestone moment or something underneath, make it into like a bit of a comedy bit, like where it's like you reveal to another set of towels.
Oh, that would have
Another
been
set of
so
towels.
funny.
And just tease us until we finally get down to the bathing suit
Could
that
have
is
been
made
like
of towels.
a beach towel into like the shower
Yeah,
towel.
the shower
Yeah.
towel into the
Yeah, or something like that. That would have been fun.
yeah,
Oh.
the just
Into
like elevating it
washcloths.
a little bit. Into
Mhm.
little like
Just
titty
washcloths,
washcloths.
like covering the tits and just
Tassels.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like actually that's kind of fierce. Like that's so stupid. I love
The
that.
never-ending reveal. You know what I want some queen to come up with? I want a reveal that's on a loop. Like you reveal and then you end up back in the first look somehow. That would be whoever pulls that off, you're gonna win Drag Race.
Dang.
Okay,
Just
this is
figure
why
out.
we need more drag queens to listen to the three of us. Listen, we are but only fans. What actually hold on, that sounds different.
I mean, I'm open to it if you guys want to
Listen,
consider that.
if you guys are interested in us having an OnlyFans, drop a comment below. Also, submit your 5-star ratings and reviews and tell us there. And
Not the Drag Race OnlyFans. Can you imagine be like, Rob, we started a OnlyFans. It's Aman, Beth, and I. I think we do quite well. I think we do well.
I think we do really well.
I'm just saying.
We
Cheers
provide
to it.
3 very different tastes and
Yeah.
aesthetics, and I am not above feet pics. Just putting it out there. I'll send you all my Venmo later.
Okay, great. Yeah, feet pics aside, yes, we are a brain trust. We have so many ideas. Please listen to us. OnlyFans upcoming. Don't worry about it. All right. Let's move on to Beth's favorite name, drag name, Amanda Tori meeting. Aman, what'd you think of Amanda in her performance?
It was fun. You know, I feel like we've seen a lot of the queens do performances like these, whether it be lip syncing to their own spoken word, lip syncing to a song that they've made, a rap song, whatever it is. And interestingly enough, someone tweeted, drag queens lip syncing to their own songs is not a talent. And then Candy Muse jumped in and it was like, do you understand just like how much time it actually takes into writing your lyrics, then recording the lyrics, and then coming up with a routine or whatever it is? Like, it's not just like you see the finished product, so it doesn't look like work to you, but there is intentionality going into it. What you maybe could have said is that maybe you're growing a little tired of seeing a lot of the queens do the same thing, which I can understand, but don't diminish someone's talent just because you've seen it a bunch of times. Okay, you go ahead and do it then. So yeah, with that being said, for Amanda, I enjoyed it. I thought that the lyrics were engaging. I actually wanted to listen to what was going on. I agreed with Rue in that she had a lot of energy, so it really did feel like she was going to bust out of her body, and that, you know, it just made me want to keep watching, want to keep looking. So yeah, I think that she did a good job. It was definitely one of the more memorable ones. So yeah, I liked hers.
I'm gonna be that girl.
You didn't like it?
I don't remember the performance. I only remember that, as I wrote, mug is questionable. That is what I wrote there. I gave her a 2 out of 5 because I was so distracted by how bad the makeup was, and I'm so sorry. That's just
I didn't think it
was
bad. But then again, I'm not really great at makeup, so I don't know.
Okay, well, this was the crease of her. These are not eyebrows. This is like up here. She was like, "Hello." So I was like, "Oh no."
It's so fun. So for me, during the actual performance, I didn't really notice it. Like during the performance, I was like, oh, she's doing like a my kitty, my pussy bit. And I was like, that's funny. I like that. The pink fuzzy box. I thought her performance was good. It was very interesting though to see like the judges responding really well, but the other queens not so much, like pretty negatively to her reaction. For me, the makeup, oh my God, especially like on the runway and on Untucked was when it was like her and Dawn next to each other. And I was like, oh, this is really bad. Like that was when I had that reaction.
One of these things is not like the other.
Yes, exactly. So yeah. And that was, I mean, even in Untucked, Saphira's like, I love your personality, but your drag is really, or your personality is so much better than your drag or something like that. And I was just like, oh my God, which gives me hope for like drama this season. But that's why. So anyway, long story short, it didn't take away from the performance for me. But Beth, I totally hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And the runway makeup was especially tough. And I think it was just bad. I was trying to be like, let your paint. I mean, I get like, I want to empathize with her, be like, oh, you're painting under really tight circumstances. She had to do a purple face. She had never done a purple face before. Like, there's so many things sort of working against her. But at the end of the day, it was still bad. So
yeah,
I think her problem is, I say this again as somebody who can't do makeup at all. So like,
let me tell you about your fucking makeup.
If you guys want to see a real journey, look up the hashtag Beth Does Makeup on Instagram and see just how horrible my makeup journey was in like 2016 to 19. It's horrible. Anyway, the whole point being is that I have felt, even from her promo look, that she doesn't know how to paint the proportions on her face. And one of the queens even said it. When she took her makeup off, they were like, Dawn was like, you have really good bone structure, but you're not like painting for that. It's like her contour is too short and she has too much real estate that's blank in this area, but then she has really dark, dramatic makeup. And so it's I think that once she figures that out, she's gonna be unstoppable. Like she clearly has such a fun personality. She's somebody else that spoke a lot in the confessionals. And so kind of to your point, Liana, I'm not sure if this means like she's the kind of person that will like go far, or is this like a Irene situation where like we get a lot from her in the first couple episodes, then she's gone. I don't
know. I'm not gonna counter out just yet, and a piece of me is saying that because I drafted the bitch, but I'm also like, you know what? Maybe it is time that we had our first. We need a busted winner. Okay.
Yes.
we need a return to form of drag. We need a reminder that like not everybody is gonna be 100% geeshed up perfectly all the time. Some of the seams might pop, some of the paddings might slip out, but that personality, bitch, sometimes it takes you all the way through, And I was hoping, in a lot of ways, I was hoping that would have been Adore Delano. But, of course, Bianca was there. So, how
some people say Evie was that person, but then those people were wrong when it came to All-Star 7. Because
I don't think so. Because even with Evie, yes, I think her looks were a little quirky, but they were always well put together, well crafted. She knew how to paint her face. Like, she never looked bad. She just looked different. Whereas with Adore and with I would even go as far as to say is, obviously Amanda, there is like a little bit of a rough edge.
Yeah,
I don't know how much of it is intentional with Amanda.
Really looks like that.
Yeah, I know with Adore it was intentional. I don't know with Amanda. Some of it's like she might think that she looks good, and it's like, we have a little bit with Aja too. Aja on season 9, girl.
That was a moment.
But who says they can't win? Hey,
Well, I think that okay, it's so much easier to fix your makeup than your personality. Like if you have a dud personality, I'm sorry, you're done. Whereas like she's absolutely going to improve her makeup. Like even in Untucked, they're like giving her makeup tips. I think that she's someone who is going to be able to like grow and excel from this. And I think that even if she goes out like third, let's say, like or somewhere in the early stages, just being on Drag Race and like being able to be around those influences, I think is going to polish her up real quick if she does go early. But anyway,
for sure.
Okay.
Oh, girl.
What are we on?
I like that the caption there is, and that's the tea. That's amazing.
I know. Yeah. Any thoughts about her runway look?
I thought it was cool. I really liked first of all, loved the wig flying off and they kept it in the show. That was so iconic. And then I love that it's this Lee Bowery skin suit kind of thing. And then transitioning into like I love that she has this idea of like wanting to pay homage to the club kid scene and be kind of quirky and alien-esque and different and paint myself purple and such. You get that makeup figured out and it will all come together in such an incredible way. Like, quite frankly. And I thought that was unique. I liked it a lot.
Unique? I mean, she did say that that this is only her second year doing drag. She started in 2021. So she's a
I didn't catch that. Holy shit. Yeah, you better work, girl.
Yeah.
She's definitely light years ahead of where I think I would have been. So
yeah. So props to her. I think we're gonna see what happens. I think, I'm gonna say all of them are ones to watch, but she definitely got a very interesting perspective, especially with with the other queen's perspective of her. Like, I think that she's someone, and we'll talk about this whole Rita Queen nonsense, but like, if this continues, I feel like she's someone who is gonna unfortunately sort of like be perpetually fighting the roughness that she portrays, and I don't think people are gonna be willing to give her flowers for the other stuff because they've already sort of judged the book by its cover. At least that was the sense I got from this episode. So
I will say, counterpoint to that, the judges would do that for her anyway. So it's just kind of what you sign up for on Drag Race.
Yeah.
Fair.
Busted queen.
Busted. Okay. All right.
Not busted. Yeah. Not busted.
Busted.
I'm just saying.
Sorry, I thought this really got.
Oh, that was the other thing. There were so many self-referential moments. Like, we are seeing so many queens be fans of the show and like come in and reference so many things. I didn't write it down of all the ones I saw, but it felt like it was like confessional reference. Not saying I hate it, but it just felt like very overwhelming in this episode.
The snake eating its own tail thing at this point.
Yeah.
Ouroboros.
Okay, let's talk about the Dawn. It's Dawn. She's quirky. She's doing her own song. She fell on the ground. Aman, what was your initial impression of Q's performance?
I again was like trying to focus on what it was that she was saying because it sounded interesting, and then I realized just how absurd it was what she was saying, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's the point. I hated the look, but I think that was intentional.
Like the pink get up, or when she did the animal print stuff.
The pink get up into the animal print. I did like that the pit crew was involved though, and they were pulling off the seemingly never-ending arms. That was fun. This seems again like it is like it's going to be right up Rue's alley because he just loves weird shit like this that is so irreverent and doesn't take itself too seriously. I think it's a rare thing to be able to do. Like, yes, we see the quirky queen almost every season, but not every quirky queen is, I think, created equal. And I think that some of them are able to just effortlessly be that way because that is who they are, as opposed to the ones that are putting it on. And I don't think that Dawn is one of them that's putting it on. Like I said, very much Willow Pill upside for me. And I think that she has like a certain style of intelligence that is witty, funny, stupid, but not to the point where like you're turned off, like to the point where you're just interested and you want to see more. So
I'm obsessed with this queen. I am obsessed with Dawn. I loved the way that she interacted with RuPaul, like in the photo shoot. Yes, where she's out there and she's like, they wouldn't vote for you. She like RuPaul loves when people can throw it back at him playfully in like a complete way that he's not expecting. Like that is what makes RuPaul laugh, right? So when you have someone who looks so innocent and is like, I'm a vegan and I think animals should vote, that's already so random. And then on top of that, who would they vote for? Not you. Like just little things like that are just show like how confident she is, even just interacting your first interaction with RuPaul. Like that kind of confidence is going to take you far. Take into the consideration just this absolutely unique creative character and performance and aesthetic, and I think you've got a full package here. She I love how I think that what we're starting to see, and kind of going back to the conversation Aman you were talking about with Candy, is that what we are moving towards is a talent show for a lot of queens will include lip syncing to your own song, because lip syncing is what queens do for a talent most of the time. What you need to do to differentiate yourself on the main stage of RuPaul's Drag Race is it can't just be a lip sync of your own song. You have to have a gimmick. You have to have a gag. You have to have something, whether it's a fun and different kind of striptease that we didn't expect, like Dawn did. If it's a really funny song, you gotta really have the gag physically with it too, right? So I'm thinking something like even Trinity the Tuck's like tucking demonstration, talent that she had. Like, there's got to be something that's a little different about it. It just can't be like, my name's Beth and I'm here to slay. All these other girls are just gonna play. Like you can't just like do that and expect like you're up on stage and that's it. You know what
I mean? I'm dying. That's like the classic white girl rap that I do. My name is Liana.
I'm here to slay. All these other girls are just here to play. I'm just gonna stand here and twerk. All you girls better say work. Like, I mean, it's just like, come on.
Oh my god, that's so cringe. That's so funny. Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. I totally agree with you, right? And I think like that's the sort of weird aesthetic that Dawn is going for. I almost wanted it to be weirder. It was like, especially it's so tough because there are the initial comparisons. Like I made that to Willow Pill, and it's like Willow Pill killed herself in the unalived herself in the bathtub. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it was weird, but it wasn't like that weird. All in all, come on, totally. I agree with you about the lyrics. Like that definitely made it, but the actual like sort of physical stuff, maybe not as much. But I don't think she necessarily has to be. Like I think that the long sleeves for me were so cool, and that was easily my favorite part. I think she's weird. She's fun. I was smitten with her when I first saw her looks. So I'm curious to see what she's going to do in these upcoming challenges. And I'm expecting good things from her. What was her look again?
She had like the monster look that
the Yeti.
That kind of like turned into like a flared jumpsuit of sorts. It was weird. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What is there to say? The Yeti with the Orville Peck mask and the reveal.
Pretty much.
Very cute.
Yeah.
Very cute. All right, let's move on from Dawn and let's talk about someone, Beth, who you mentioned stood out to you, and that is Q. What do you have to say about this letter of the alphabet / drag queen?
I have to say it again. I know I said it in the premiere. She's going to be somebody that comes out of the Midwest and is just like ticks all the boxes, but also has like a biting personality in the sense of like she's going to take the competition seriously. She was incredible from everything that she is going to present on the runway this season. I think that she has made herself. I think we can go ahead and even just based off of the first couple of outfits we've seen, she's probably one of the best seamstresses we've ever had on the show, period. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
You look at, I know nothing about sewing. I know nothing about construction, but even I can look at something and go, that stitch or the way that this is put together and constructed here, that's not an average thing that people can just do. She clearly knows her proportions. She clearly knows how to construct and design. And so all of that in her runway was already going to be something I was sold on. Then she comes out and she's like a quirky little puppet, essentially, and with like the tiny little ballerina feet. Are you kidding me? That's all I needed. That's all I need in life is just a drag queen to be friggin' stupid while I watch on a Saturday morning. It's lovely.
Yeah. I mean, it was the facial expressions she really sold that performance. Very obviously it was very well choreographed. The movement made it look sort of like believable, even in this unrealistic body proportion. It was fun. It was silly. It was just like, it was a personality piece, to be honest.
Totally.
And I think, I think definitely the right decision. And it was done through a medium that we don't often see. Like, I mean, we've all seen like a stage puppet show similar to this before, but maybe not so much on Drag Race. I thought it was just a smart decision to bring that in here. It was fun.
Right. I completely agree. I think that that's the thing is that I don't, the lip syncing to your own song, of course, absolutely agree is a talent. But when you are comparing it to other people who are all doing the same thing, it's like, let's say we all go on a cooking show and Beth and I both make, I don't know, fajitas. Of course, our dishes are going to be compared to one another a little bit more critically than like, let's say Aman makes, I don't know, Aman, what do you want to cook? Paella, right? Like, yeah. So like, obviously that's just, it's natural that you're going to want to compare. So when you have I would say, two performances that were really kind of their own or felt a little bit more like their own thing, including Q's with the weird puppet show shit. Like, it automatically stands out just by the nature of it being more unique. And so I think that I felt so confident with her runway looks because knowing she was a seamstress, she seemed really confident with the look she had. To be able to then see her do this, I was like, oh, yes, yes. I'm really excited for her. I want to see her point of view. I was very impressed. And Aman, you totally nailed it with the comment about her face. Her facial expressions were so good. Like, so good, so silly, so goofy, so fun, so cute. I just think she absolutely smashed it. And then, of course, to couple that with her runway look, I mean, chef's kiss. Amazing.
You know, they say that the mark of a good comedic actor is actually how they act with their eyebrows. And if you look at her performance, her eyebrows were all over the place. It was good acting.
Yes. And then she has the sort of black buggy Snow White-ish look to her, but then reveals into like this butterfly thing with the colors. Cool. Just very gorgeous, very pretty. So
and I love that Charlize Theron was there because I was like, I thought I had the same thought in my head. I was like, oh, it's kind of giving Charlize and Snow White and the Huntsman. And then when Charlize brought that up, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, totally.
A side note, like me and my friends to this day still quote one of Charlize's lines from that movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's a moment where like she's trying to get, because the whole premise, sorry, spoil it, but the damn movie's been out for over a decade now.
I think we're good.
She's the queen and she's trying to send the huntsman to kill Snow White. And the huntsman is starting to feel a little bit, you're like, I don't think I want to do this. And she just screams in the middle of the throne room, you will do this for me, huntsman. And like every time one of my friends is like saying, like, if one of us is saying no to something,
I love that.
So good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about our next queen, Mirage. So also her own song. In my opinion, I thought this was the best of the lip sync to your own song kind of performances. I think there is such an effortless way that she moves, and almost like she's like a liquid. She just like slides so smoothly, like she's covered in oil. It's truly like I could not take my eyeballs off her during that performance.
She's like a rubber band.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna have it bend and swirl this way, and I'm gonna fling it over here, and like that's what it felt like. She felt like she also felt like one of those like Weebles wobbles or something like that, except for she did fall down. Like she did a lot of ground or floor work or whatever. I was so captivated, and we have not seen heel clacking like that on Drag Race, and that is, I didn't realize until after when I started doing a little bit more research, like that's been a big thing in, you know, especially like in the ball scenes and in drag competitions and that kind of thing. And I had no idea because we never talk about it. So thank you, Drag Race. Thank you, Mirage, for letting me learn a little bit more. Heel clacking. I thought it was so cool and so much fun and different and percussive and all that fun stuff. And also her personality, she slays me. She's so funny. I'm gonna die laughing at her the entire time. She's quality entertainment.
And see, that's what I enjoyed the most about it, and it being so stripper coded and Vegas coded and all sorts of other stuff. Like, I disagreed with Michelle when she said, you know, I think it's just a little bit messy. You need to maybe think about a big beginning, middle, and end. And I was like, no, because if she is doing, like, if she's embodying, you know, strippers don't really have choreography. They kind of just like let you're in the mode, you're in it, and you just go with wherever your brain is telling your body to go, which makes it look so like that's why you just want to continue watching, because even the performer isn't necessarily sure what they're going to do next. So I was transfixed. I love the entire thing, and compared with the in tandem with the lyrics and everything, it was just fun. Again, I felt like it was a personality piece. We really got to see who she is, like how she performs, where she comes from, and I am very happy about choosing her. So I really enjoyed that.
You absolutely should be. And, you know, her sort of owning the like tackiness of it all. I think that that's so
Mhm.
fun. I have really loved her entrance look. The whole idea of like a stripper that shops at Claire's.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I just want to see her perform. I want more. I want more.
Mhm.
And her runway look too, I thought was very good as well. I mean, obviously very Vegas, but the layers to it of like
Mhm.
starting
Mhm.
almost in this like cocoon sort of thing and then losing that and then losing that, like losing all the
Yeah.
layers. I thought that that elevated it a little bit and just made it a little bit more exciting. And her in the voting booth with the Rita Queen thing with her, she was so dramatic with her feathers and everything. I'm really obsessed with her.
I think that Michelle just doesn't get her because I think that
Mhm.
Mirage is intentionally just
Messy.
a little too tacky.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it
that's her
I
vibe.
think that's her vibe because Vegas tries to there's two forms of Vegas. There's the Vegas that's glitz and glam and it's tacky, but it's the kind of tacky that like people want to escape to for a while. But then
Mhm.
there's like the dirty tacky
Mm.
Las Vegas, right? Like the people that like when you really look close enough, you're like that person hasn't showered in days and they're still at the same machine. That person over there just got married and doesn't even know who they married. Like you look at the oh, there's the like the seediness or whatever. And she marries kind of both of them together. She's not like the escort that you call for because you just won a shit ton of money at roulette. She's the
Mm.
escort you called because you lost your money. You know what I mean? That's what I think is
Not
awesome
that.
about her. And I think that she leans so well into like taking the branding of Las Vegas and like being like I know my city and I know how to reflect that within my own drag. I think
Mhm.
she's freaking genius. I
Mhm.
loved it. I love just how she embodies that in addition to how she like was able to perform.
Mhm.
Incredible.
Yum. Let's talk about our next queen, Tsunami Muse. Aman, what did you think about Tsunami here?
Not enough, girl.
Hmm.
Sorry about it. Not enough. That tsunami was very underwhelming. I wanted us to get flooded and lose our lives, but that was just a little. It was a little missed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It was made of the nest.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I'm glad that Candy Muse came to her daughter's defense because I think that tweet that she was responding to was like directly. I think that was really a direct hit at Tsunami, even though a bunch of the
Mhm.
other queens did the exact same thing. But I think just there wasn't just enough. It was just literally just her doing a nice little, kick and step to her song. And the song was fine. The lyrics were fine. They were great. But when, like you said, we need to have like some type of like gimmick. There needs to be something extra. You need to elevate your performance, and I just don't think that there was anything there. I thought she looked great. I thought she just said, "I'm gonna write a song real quick, and I'm just gonna go out there and perform it." That's not enough.
Mhm.
I need something else.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I agree with you. She was someone who I really enjoyed in the confessionals. And like, I didn't, I mean, obviously, I remember her from watching all the videos when we did the preview, but she's like, the mm, the amount I thought about her increased percentage wise the most. Does that make sense? Like I didn't really
Yeah.
remember her all that much and then I was like, "Oh, she's actually really funny. She's really
Mhm.
clever. I really like her." But then we get to the performance and I agree. Just unfortunately very overwhelming. The judges say it was flat. I agree with that. The reveal I thought was cute, but again, when you're looking at some of the other reveals, the combination of the two just felt a little bit overwhelming.
Mm,
Underwhelming. Sorry.
yeah.
I I really felt like her runway was really good. And then but her performance was the weakest for me. Again, if that were in a club, I'd be throwing dollar bills at her. Like if she performed at a club, it'd be great. But when you're comparing to other people who had other gimmicks or whose
Mhm.
lyrics were more memorable or their whatever was just different enough, you have to do something else, and that's unfortunate for her. I do have to point out, I think it was during the mini challenge that RuPaul said something about like her being a tsunami and she's like, "That's right, I'm going to be the wind that blows you over." And I was like, "Honey, that's not a tsunami, that is a hurricane
She
or
said
a
wave.
tornado." Oh, I thought she said wind and I thought she said
Okay.
blow you over, but if she said wave that makes more sense, but if she said wind, honey, no.
No, I think I'm pretty sure.
I hope she said
Wrong
wind.
I'm
element.
gonna give her credit. On that
Okay,
one.
good. I was like, if anyone's gonna have
Yeah.
the wind factor, it's me. No, just kidding.
Yeah, for the record, I actually thought her song was really fun. I would put it behind. I don't know. I liked the mandatory meetings, but I really liked Tsunami's rap. I thought that was good. But unfortunately, if we're putting people at the bottom two, I think she probably would have been down there for me. But
She was
maybe
one of-
this is a wake up call.
She was one of the easiest to understand the lyrics, though. I will say that.
I agree. It was.
I had
Yeah.
I understood
diction.
the diction was there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, talk about a song that the lyrics were literally spelled out on a monitor for us, whether they are the real lyrics or not. Highly suspect not. Let's talk about Safira Cristal. Of course, we know that she's an opera singer and she takes this as an opportunity to highlight her skills, but also to bring in the gag. So she's doing something and putting a little bit of a twist on it, Aman. I thought that this was really fun and definitely deserving of the top 2 spot.
Lots of fun. I like that he has like legitimately, or she, excuse me, has legitimate range.
Mhm.
Because we know how she sounded when she did her entrance look, all the way down here in bass level vocal, and then performing this in mezzo soprano vocal, and obviously not going to be as flighty as a female's voice would sound, but still like the level of control up there and it sounding good. And not like too much strain on the voice. I was like, okay, so you actually are classically trained. Good for you. So I think that that's great. Just marrying that with comedy, the split, the whole thing, calling RuPaul yo daddy. Like, it's just like, I think she made all of the right choices. Appease RuPaul, make him laugh, show your real talent, make it drag, give us comedy. It had everything.
Mm-hmm.
Co-sign everything you just said. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that is what's going to win you a talent show every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Take a real talent, make it something different from everybody else, drag it up, make RuPaul laugh in the process, you win.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, totally. I mean, genuinely the only misstep, but then kind of ended up being a comedy bit was her like tiny little baby Fisher Price titties, but then that almost like turned into its own storyline and like became then this gag. Intentional or not, she was able to spin it and kind of run with her little narrow tiny titties.
I just want it known that that was me for years. Okay. I had that kind of shape. And some of Michelle's like, they were like, breasts too small for you. I was like, listen, before I gained weight and the weight went to my boobage, this is a real thing. I see myself in Safira. Thank you so much for the representation.
To be clear, for
I know. I'm joking around.
Booby representation, baby.
Like it's just she is like her.
She's broader.
The width of her body is wider. So for me, it was more that they were just close together, like that on a smaller queen. Put that on Dawn, and that is going to work, right? On someone who's just tiny. Like I think it was just that was the issue. But I will say the color match, very good.
Mhm.
So if you're going to make a decision, color match, size, like you're weighing so many options, not a lot to go with. So I get it. And again, it became funny, and especially in the final lip sync performance, it like was a prop in all of that. I just think that this was an absolutely fantastic episode for her, and it's giving front runner status to me.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Definitely.
I will say I did not like her runway as much because I felt like the gown needed to be ironed and pressed and didn't maybe fit her correctly, or it wasn't the right proportions. It looked slightly off to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I am a little nervous about like if depending on what her runways end up looking like, if she's someone who excels in the challenges and then kind of gets stuck a little bit with the runway looks.
Ginger.
Yeah.
I don't think she's as bad as Ginger. I think that she had like, but I will say, please don't be Ginger. I love Ginger Minge. But
yeah, but Ginger was a little busted from time to time. Just a little busted.
Oh my gosh, like what was her walk-in look on All Stars, the frog thing that was so the body.
I'm the glamour toad, and you're like, no, honey, no.
Feeling froggy.
Okay, let's talk about this twist. Let's talk. Well, call it a twist. I don't know what you want to call it, but we need to talk about Rate a Queen, aka the Circle, on
The
my
triangle.
Yeah.
Drag Race show. Yeah, sorry, it's a triangle. That was literally the funniest thing. I was like, "This is the Circle, but it's a triangle."
Did you also notice it's a pink triangle?
Of course, it
The
is.
pink triangle. I thought it was fucking amazing. I said that. For those that don't know, the pink triangle was a symbol used primarily, I think, in like the 60s and 69 during the more of like the um, queer and feminist revolutions and such to signify that you were a member of the queer community.
Yes.
And it was also what was given. It was a reclamation because it was also given to queer people during the Holocaust to send them to concentration camps. So like Jews would get a star, queer people would get a pink triangle on them. So it was a reclamation of all that. So the fact that it's a pink triangle, so lots of organizations like on college campuses for a long time before they were called LGBTQIA plus centers or whatever, they sometimes would be called the pink triangle. But I just thought that was incredible as I watched that, clock that immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to continue throughout the season, or is this just like a first 2 episodes sort of deal? What do you guys think? Because I legitimately have seen nothing anywhere, and I don't know what to make of it.
I don't know. I don't know if it's not really justifying his existence yet for me. I mean, I guess like this just seems like an extended way of doing who should go home and why. You know what I mean? Which when we do get to that point, is that going to feel as impactful now because everyone's been rating everyone? I mean, I guess in that point it's not going to be, it won't be anonymous, but I don't know. I think that bringing back immunity, that within itself is fine.
Forgot about that too. Yeah.
Because it feels like this season does sort of feel like a bit of like a return to form in a way, like you're bringing back immunity, you're bringing back the lounge, you know what I mean? So that to me was enough. I don't know if I need to see them rate each other because that's what All Stars is kind of for in a way. I mean, we'll see if it attributes to any drama, but I feel like you don't need this to get drama on the show, so I don't know.
I feel like this is going to be something that will be more interesting as the season goes on if they keep it. Or it would be more interesting in lieu of queens just voting for one person in All Stars if this is the system that they work towards. But I almost feel like they're going to go, okay, so we've had 15 seasons done. Let's try to go to some of the things that worked in almost every 5 season eras, right? Like, okay, what worked in the first 5 seasons? What worked in the second 5 seasons and the third 5 seasons? And kind of combine little elements of all of that. And I have no idea what the format of All Stars 9 or anything like that will look like. But I almost wonder if they're going to go, okay, what if we brought in this rating system for regular Drag Race? And then instead of voting anybody out in All Stars, we kept the All Star 7 format that nobody goes home and it's a point system from here on out. And like maybe that's how we get more people signed up because apparently I still haven't gotten confirmation if this is true or not. But I did hear that like if you sign up for Drag Race now, like you kind of sign your life away to say that you'll do it All Stars if you get asked. So I don't know if they're like trying to incentivize people wanting to come back or like essentially sign up for 2 seasons. I still don't know if that's true or not. So take that with a grain of salt. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not crazy about it, but also like, okay, let's see what happens. Like, fuck it, let's try it. Let's see, who knows. And the whole thing with immunity also is very interesting because the way that queens were speaking about it and the way that Ru's speaking about it sounds like you have the opportunity to use it at a certain time. Like it's not in previous All Stars, it was you win, so you have immunity for the next week. But here it sounds like I don't know. There was something about the language that Ru was using, and I don't remember
if
I
I
wrote
it down. Future
or not.
elimination.
Yes, at a future elimination. And I was like, okay, not the next elimination. You're saying a future elimination. What exactly does that mean? Hopefully we'll get more clarity as we move on. I'm very interested to see how it's going to affect the show. Although I will say, Saphira winning almost felt like, well, she might not need it. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is putting the horse before the cart, but or putting the cart before the horse. But I was just like, I don't know. She just seems so good. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
it'll be interesting. But I do think that bringing immunity back is going to be interesting. Considering, like, let's just pay homage for a second to Alyssa Edwards, who killed immunity for being so bad at Katy Perry in the Snatch game of season 5 that they
That
literally
is
got rid of it.
burned into my brain of like Alyssa did
Rude,
so
no.
It
rude.
was so
Never.
Never. So bad. She was so lucky. So freaking lucky. All right. Our top 2 queens are going to lip sync against each other. And I think Mirage really had the quote in her rating confessional, which was, look, this is the 3rd position. This is where it gets hard because there were 2 pretty clear top queens with Q and Saphira. And Aman, how excited were you? Not just another Beyonce song, but also Break My Soul. What was that? Like 18 months, a year ago, something like that? I mean, we're talking recent.
July 29th, 2022 at 12 a.m., bitch. Okay. I will never forget that day. It just filled my heart with so much joy. It was such a pleasant surprise, but at the same time, I feel like I shouldn't be surprised because this entire album cycle and concert tour cycle, Beyonce has been screaming to the rooftops about just how much the queer community influenced this album. Her own childhood memories about her Uncle Johnny and all of that, who was a seamstress, who I'm sure probably made gowns for not only the women, but the girls back in the day. So it just, it feels right. And we know that Beyonce has been notoriously, has like a stranglehold over where her music can be played, which I love because I feel like all artists should have that power. But to see her sort of like open up Renaissance in particular to everyone, it's just that's what the album is all about. And I should have known, like, because I went to go see Lil Nas X last year too, and he was performing Pure Honey, one of the songs from Renaissance, on like it was a number that he had every single show, and I was like, how is Beyonce letting him get away with this? But then I was like, come on, that is like a little queer Black boy.
Yeah.
That album is for him. And so I'm just thank you so much, Beyonce, for the album in particular, but thank you for like sticking to your word and like putting your money where your mouth is and allowing this album to occupy all queer spaces, because that's where the album belongs. So it just made me so happy.
I think that also having that context with what Charlize Theron said about, I'm happy I could be here because your community has been under attack as of recently. And this is, a small way for me to come out and support you all, essentially. Like, I love these people, these women who maybe are not a part of the community, but showing their support in ways that are meaningful for those watching and listening and interacting. Like that's important representation, to see allies speak about it, not just queer people.
Well, the actual lip sync itself, I will say, I thought there was a little bit of a difference between the 2 approaches from Q.
They were so similar to me. I don't know.
Saphira did such a good job starting slow, building it up. And the moment she does the run into the splits, I was like, okay, I think this is over. I do think that Saphira won this lip sync. The camera also seemed to think that she won the lip sync because there was very little footage of Q. I didn't do them.
I want to see the lost footage.
I felt like I was always like, it's Saphira. Now that I'm mad at that, but I do think we were being told something, especially the combination of her breastplate sort of falling off, her bouncing it on the ground. Lovely, amazing. I'm so happy that she ran with that. I felt like she nailed it.
It was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, poor Q. I mean, I feel like she quite literally was kind of like stuck. It felt like she was having to dance around Saphira because Saphira was just occupying so much of the space. But that's how you do it, baby. That's how you win. So yeah, I think I'm glad that Saphira was there, because if it were someone with the same performance level as Q, then I probably would have been pissed off. That was what Break My Soul was subjected to. But we don't got to talk about that right now.
I know.
That didn't happen. This was not a telephone situation all over again.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'd blocked that out of my memory.
Yeah, I think we all did.
Aman has not ever been able to.
I think about it and I plot the demise of Willow Pill and Injury.
The day.
The RuPaul the day.
The RuPaul the day. There are a few other little things that I want to touch on. The first being the mini challenge. So we got a photo shoot. From the Ring doorbell with Rue just sitting behind on an iPad, just giving the queens shit. It was pretty funny, very bizarre. Don't know why Love Connie was there. I expected there to be like a shift into an acting improv challenge or something that sort of never happened.
Nope.
Love to see Love Connie, don't get me wrong, but I was kind of a little underwhelmed. I expected something else if you're gonna go ahead and bring Love Connie in. But you know what? You got to see the queens interact through a door with Rue. And I think that that's sort of the main thing you want to see with that initial photo challenge. Like, who can impress Rue? Beth mentioned it with Dawn. Saphira, of course, makes Rue laugh. And so that immediately sort of stands out as like, oh, these are queens that like are vibing with Rue and can throw it back.
Yeah. That I like these door challenge because we have this is the first we've seen this several times actually, and I always enjoy it because like you said, it really is just it's like, girl, like you're on the show now. This is the first episode. Show me something. Like without all the glitch and the glam, without all of the this is just you are what you make this challenge. So just go for it. And so some of them can, some of them can't. And you know, that's kind of what we see.
I also love that they said, you know, normally we get this really well-known photographer to come in and take these glamour shots of you. This year, we're going to have RuPaul with an iPad on a Ring camera, try to take a good photo of you. I actually think that's incredible because that is probably closer to the quality of a lot of what queens get photographed with all the time if they're at a local club or something, right? So I thought that was a fun aspect of it. I almost wonder if the photo shoot was supposed to be Love Connie throwing shit or chasing them, and then something happened that they put a stop on that, and so it just turned into, this is how we know that it's time for you to leave, when Love Connie comes out and acts like a Karen. Like,
yeah, that definitely could have been the case because it was like a porch pirate. Like some of the language was like, oh, it's like a porch pirate kind of thing of stealing packages, but then that sort of like never really came up at all.
Right.
So
Never came back. Yeah. And there was no package.
Whatever. Yeah.
He said, can you pick up the mail? And then Mirage was like, what mail? I couldn't find. She's like, oh, you mean this package? And he's like, oh yeah, you have a package for me? And I just was laughing because I was like, I think RuPaul ruined it. His own joke.
What did one of them say? It was like, oh, based off of this porch, I know you. Wait, what did it? I forget.
I think it was Saphira. It was like, oh, you live in something about like living in a good neighborhood, or like, oh, you're not getting robbed, or something.
Yeah. Like based off of this porch, you ain't got nothing to rob. Yeah.
So we are getting also, you know, obviously every season we get a lot of big names. We already kind of talked a little bit about Charlize Theron. Theron.
I always said Theron, and then I trust whatever RuPaul says, because ever since Raven Simone, RuPaul knows. So RuPaul said Theron.
Tuvalu also. Yeah. Tuvalu, another one I learned how to pronounce. So yeah, so that was great. I love that she brought them South African, the Malva pudding. That was very cute.
Yes.
It seemed like she genuinely meant everything. And you guys already talked about what she said, but it felt like it genuinely came from the heart. And so I'm very happy that, while unexpected to me, I'm very happy that that she was there. And then we're getting Becky G next week, which I've had sort of a like, oh my God, yeah, Becky G, or who? Those are the two reactions I've seen. Yeah. Mainly because like a lot of the songs I remember were like from 10 years ago. So I was like, oh yeah, Shower. That's the one Becky G song.
I haven't heard from Becky G in a while, but you know, I'm glad she's still around.
Yeah, it'll be cute. Is there anything else that either of you would like to mention about this episode, or predictions or thoughts? The floor is yours.
I can't wait for the next group. I can't wait to see what they're like. I hope that they're all just as memorable as this group has been. And then I can't wait to see the two groups come together.
Okay.
Period.
Yeah, fair. Aman.
Yeah, I thought it was a strong entrance. I'm still not really sure how I feel about the Rated Queen situation yet, but I'll give it some time to breathe. And yeah, it was nice. There was something to root for, I think, in every single one of these queens, which is always fun. So yeah. I'm definitely happy to see more.
I hope that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I don't want any of them to go. Like, I really don't. So, I'm gonna be sad.
I'm glad that none of them did. Yeah, it was nice that all of them were, you know. saved.
I wonder if the Rate of Queen will somehow play into like a more public voting of miscongeniality for the ratings as well. Like, we can always, for the past few years, we've been able, or at least a couple of years, we've been able to see people vote for miscongeniality, like as a Wow Presents thing on YouTube every once in a while. I think it'd be really interesting if the Rate of Queen is not just about the performance challenges and that kind of thing, but if they bring it into other aspects of it, or do like that Survivor challenge where you would all have to vote based off of who you think is certain, like they used to do that in old school Survivor, where it'd be like, who here is the most annoying, or which one needs to get a clue or whatever, and people write down their answers. I would love for them to, if you're going to produce drama, that's a good way to do it.
I thought they might reveal the votes in
Me
Untucked
too.
or something somewhere along the way. Maybe they're going to save it. Maybe at some point we're going to get that. But that was my initial impression was, oh, they're going to just save a bunch of data to create some drama. Like they could be like, oh, Morphine, you put a mandatory meeting in the bottom 5 times.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
I mean, we already had it. Somebody, who was it? Was it Mirage
probably.
who said, "Tsunami's my girl. I'm not going to have her."
Oh,
I'm
that's
not
Morphine.
Morphine.
I think.
Morphine.
Yeah. I think they know each other. They know
Yes.
each other.
She said, "I'm not going to put her in the bottom. I mean, I'm this is me saving your ass." So I hope we get more of that. And if enough people are voting strategically down the road, we might end up with a bottom 2. That's not what was interesting. I just think it's interesting.
That was the circle moment for me. It was like you're trying to tank the person you think is going to be like in the top so that you can be up there. It was very, very funny. All right. That does it for us. We did it. We completed the premiere. We're going to be back next week to talk about the second half of the split premiere. We are also planning on having guests. I forgot to mention this at the top of the show, but we do have something in the works. I think that all the reality TV people would be interested to find out. So I'm going to leave that as a little bit of a teaser, a surprise. Subscribe to the feed if you want to get all of the tea from us. RHAPhasawebsite.com/drag race, of course, to leave all of your ratings and reviews. So Aman, anything you want to plug, anything you want to mention before we close out?
Yay, more Beyonce on Drag Race. It just makes me smile. The only editor's note is that every single song on Renaissance is capitalized. So when the song title flashed across the screen and it was not in all caps, I was like, that's not Break My Soul. That's Break My Soul.
Wrong song. Wrong song.
But other than that, no, yeah, I'm super excited to continue watching. And yeah, you can follow me everywhere at Aman Adwin.
All right, Beth, go ahead.
You can follow me at AugustaWind11, including my Twitch channel, where I'm hoping to go live about once a week now, and try to do Pokemon stuff. And I just got introduced to Overwatch, so that's an issue that's going to probably play out on my channel as well. And you can also catch me on My Weekly Meltdown. We'll probably be covering the traders. So if you're interested in additional content that you get here on RHAP, feel free to check us out there.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Liana RHAP. I had the opportunity to play in the RHAP Traders game. If you're into sort of org content, I would highly check it out. We had reality TV people from Survivor, Big Brother, as well as some podcasters play, and I thought it was pretty entertaining. So if you're interested in that, you can find that on the YouTube page, which of course, if you're listening to the audio version, we also post this podcast on the YouTube page. So if you want the videos, visuals to go along with it, not a lot in this episode except for a comparison between a mandatory meeting and Dawn's makeup, you can definitely check that out on YouTube as well. So thank you all for listening. Thank you to the whole RHAP team for all your help behind the scenes, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye. Uh-oh.